Don't stop.
Hey, thanks so much for listening to the show today. My guest today, his name is Harker Jones, and I think he's got a really interesting story because, like me, I grew up in a small town until I was 7 and before moving to South Miami. But Harker grew up in a small town in the Midwest in Michigan and moved to Los Angeles and had this huge career working with Out Magazine, The Advocate, and doing things with Disney. He's even worked in the porn industry as the chief editor at Gay VN and done screenwriting and worked in theater. And he's just kind of done all these amazing things. And it reminds me of my story in some ways because I, grew up even living south of Miami. What I wanted to do with my life was I wanted to move to New York. I wanted to live in a, big city like that. Miami's a big city, but it's a different type of city. And I lived south of Miami and I lived in South Beach for a while, and my dream was always to move to New York. And once I moved to New York, I felt like I fit in so well, and that's where I belonged. And that's really part of Harker's story as well, is where he says that he felt like once he got there, he made his friends. And cities like LA and New York can be really tough. And I think the whole saying, if you can make it here, you can make it anywhere about New York is so true. Because there's a lot of people that I know that have moved to New York, not just trying to act or sing or be in the entertainment industry, but just trying to get a job. And New York will easily chew you up and spit you out if you don't make the right move. And so I was very thankful that I made it in New York and that it made me a person who I am today. It also put me in the relationship that I'm in today and just drove my career and put me in front of you to talk about this podcast. So enjoy my conversation with Harker Jones today and leave a comment. Let me know what you think about his story. Thanks so much for listening. Hi, thanks for joining me on the Everything and Anything and a Bit Gay podcast. Today, I have a new guest. His name is Harker Jones. He's done writing, film, LGBTQ plus media. He's done a lot of things, and we're going to get into all of it. So welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here.
So you grew up in Michigan.
Yes.
Went to LA. You've done a lot in LA. So tell me how you went from Michigan to LA. How did you end up in LA?
I always knew I was supposed to be here, know, and I wasn't here to be in the movie industry or whatever, anything like that. I ended up falling into it. I'm a writer, and I mostly wrote fiction at the time.
Okay.
And I grew up on a dirt road. The town is so small. It doesn't have a traffic light even now. It's just a 4-way stop. And so to come from there to here, I just look back sometimes and think, how did it all happen?
Yeah.
I was supposed to be here, and I knew that. And the first time I drove in, it just felt not like, it felt like home. Yeah. it felt familiar.
You felt the energy of it. That was for you, right?
Right. Yeah. And then things took off. I left because nothing was working out for me in Michigan. Not like it was a disaster, but like I didn't have a career job. I didn't have a partner. So I was like, something needs to change. So
was there anybody gay in Michigan in that small town?
Yes. There I'm sure are some gay kids. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And so you came to LA and that's been home ever since.
Yeah. 26 years ago.
Wow.
I know. I was 14 when I moved here. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
But yeah, I got here and the career just started.
And so you're a storyteller basically. So you do writing, editing, screenwriting. How did you start doing all of this? Like what was your first job in LA?
My first job in LA was for a website. I can't remember what it was called. I just there for that summer. We had to listen to the radio. Someone handled like hip hop, R&B. Someone did the rock.
Yeah.
I had the pop and adult contemporary. And what we did was write down the songs they played in the order they played. It was really bizarre. But then I got a job at Genre Magazine, which is kind of like the poor man's out.
Yeah.
And so I was there as a copy editor, and then the assistant editor or associate editor she bolted like 2 weeks later. She's very nice. She wanted to do something on haunted houses or something. I don't remember what it was. And so then they created a managing editor's position for me because I was going to be doing the copy editing, but also take on more. So then I became managing editor of that. And then that fell apart within a year. Not me, just apparently the owner, who I think has died, I'm not sure. He would end up being become unhappy with the direction of the magazine, basically on a yearly basis. So clean house. Anyway, so then I ended up over being a copy editor for Out and The Advocate and HIV Plus, and that off the book offshoot, Allison Books. And I was there as a copy editor for 6 months, and then managing editor left, and they promoted me there. And I was there for 7 years. I know.
That's pretty amazing. I mean, that's a major publication.
I realize it more now than I did at the time, I think, because when you're in it, it's just kind of happening. Not it's just happening to you. You're active, but in it. But it's hard to see from the outside looking in.
Yeah. So you just kind of felt like, oh, this is just a job, and you didn't realize how awesome of a job it was at the time?
I knew it was cool. It got me I was able to do a lot of things because of that, and just being there for working in the magazine, and I was a managing editor, so I didn't get to meet the celebrities or anything like that. But I had to oversee everything, including my superiors, and be like, where's your story? We need to get this done. I'm just a taskmaster, which is what I'm kind of good at.
And tell me about Disney.
The senior editor for Out was all things Disney. And he was working there. He got a job there after he left Out, and he suggested me as a copy editor for their magazine.
Wow.
And I've been there for 7 or 8 years now. I saw an old invoice recently just on my computer. I was like, so 7 or 8 years ago. I was like, wow. I've been at Disney for a while.
So what do you do? What do you do at Disney? Are you writing articles for the magazine, or you're kind of doing a lot of different?
I'm quoting just the copy editor. So they send it to me 3 times before it goes out, and I read the whole thing. It's all Disney. There are no ads because it's called D23. It's for super Disney fans, and there's a whole club or whatever for the D23 fans. And so this is the quarterly magazine. And so, there are no ads because it's all Disney. And so it's all text. There's a lot of text. There's some really in-depth stories.
Wow.
Really fun. I mean, if you have to be editing, at least it's fun.
And do you get to go to Disney anytime you want?
No.
Okay. That's too bad.
I know.
I grew up in Florida, so we would go every year as a kid, and then sometimes I'll still go back as an adult. And I think some people think that it's weird that I go as an adult, but because I don't have kids. But I'm like, it's fun.
I don't think it's weird at all. We don't have kids. I've been to Disneyland many times.
So what other type of stories are you telling or have you told? And any screenwriting and film? You want to talk about anything about that?
Well, I started writing when I was 13. Angsty poetry and, unfinished novels and things like that. And so it just continued on. And I wrote my first book when I was 17. And and was still living on the dirt road. And it was a thriller, a slasher whodunit, my favorite, called Never Have I Ever. And I finally published that last year. It's gotten great reviews. And it's so, they're all close to my heart. All my children are beautiful.
I mean, you wrote this when you were 17, and that's pretty amazing. And it's done well as well.
It's doing well. I mean, I'd already released, I'm trying to keep a clean timeline so I don't confuse you or anyone else. So I wrote that. Then I obviously edited it throughout the years. Every once in a while I'd go back to it. Then I wrote a screenplay based on it. And people really liked the screenplay. So that kind of got me into well, maybe I should give this another polish and publish it just so it's out there too. Reviews, awards, whatever, cannot hurt. So that's why I ended up doing it when I did. Because of the screenplay. But my second novel I wrote when I was 27, and I published that 6 years ago. It's a bleak love story, and people hear love story and they hear romance, and it's not a romance. There's no meat to it. And it was really tricky marketing it because of that. And some people are really pissed. The first sentence is, it happened so long ago. God, what is it? Anyway, basically from the first sentence, it's bleak.
Yeah.
It's melancholy the whole time. And I don't mean everyone dies. It's not really spoilers, but it was really tricky to market it because I wanted people to understand what it was without giving anything away.
Was that Cole and Colette? Is that
No, that's until September.
Okay.
My love story until September. And that is doing really well. It's outselling the other two. I just published a children's book too. It's outselling the other two this summer. Oh my God, more than 10 to 1. I don't,
Wow.
I'm running an Amazon promotion, but I do that. It takes place primarily over the course of a summer. They have until September to figure all their shit out. And so I run a promotion every summer, but it's the same one. And it sells, but like, why is it selling so much more now? I have no idea. I'll never know if people are just finding it. And so that's very exciting. And then, the screenplays, I was just filled with rage at one point. I remember I was at the gym and I was like, I'm going to write a screenplay about this. The rage at the world, And I don't know why it was a screenplay. It just was. It's the first one. It's one of the best ones I still stand by. And about a woman who sees a pop star for lip syncing. So it takes place here in LA, and because it's about the entertainment industry, and it's really raucous. It's not raunchy, but there's a lot of language, and it's just over the top. It's a satire. It's probably the most expensive script I've written.
Do you think? I think people are reading more. Do you?
Yes.
And the reason why I think that is because I think people are reading, even if the book is, an ebook on their phone or, or whatever. But I feel like people are so sick of the news sick, and I think people are turning to books and, it's reality TV or some competition show. It seems like that's kind of, there are some good shows on, but there's a lot of, I think people like need a release outside of what's happening in this crazy world today.
No, absolutely. And like you said, I think like the Kindles and the tablets and all the machines, people are reading more than they would be if those didn't exist.
Yeah,
they wouldn't necessarily go buy a book and carry it around. So I think it's the what do you say? How close it is right there. Oh, I can download it right now and start reading.
Yeah.
So I think people are reading more than they used to, and certainly more than they would.
Yeah. Okay. Can we talk about the gay porn? You did that for 2 years.
Yes.
We'll be right back after a word from our sponsors. Okay, and now back to the show. That was a good transition, right? Everybody's reading, and now you're in gay porn.
I don't even remember applying for the job. I went through my list. I remember at the time, like, what did I apply for? When did I do this? And porn, and put a keyword, so I didn't figure out anyway. Somehow I applied for a job as editor-in-chief of GayVN, which is kind of like Variety or The Reporter gay porn. So it's not a jerk-off magazine, though there's a shit ton of nudity. But it's more just like, oh, the new model signed with Falcon, and so we do a little thing on that guy, or if the studio is doing something different. It's that kind of thing. What's going on in the trades, essentially. And, I didn't love it. Did
you get to meet any of the actors or the...
I went on set once.
Okay.
I was supposed to do this, periodically. I was like, oh, God, do I have to? So I just assigned it to someone else.
Going like from porn to Disney is quite a difference. Huh?
So many people bring that up and like, God, you're right. That is kind of weird. And at the time, it's like, no, I'm over here doing this thing. I don't know.
You do whatever comes your way, right? That's how I see it.
Right.
So.
Yeah, I got something. So here I am.
And what do you have kind of coming up next that you're excited about? So and by the way, just so all of the listeners know, I will put a link to your Amazon store so everybody can go in and get your books and stuff. And
thanks.
And a good summer reading. It sounds like there's a couple there, so we'll put it out there.
Yeah, cool. Thanks.
But what do you have coming up next?
Well, I wrote a psychological thriller called The Alexandrite Ring.
Okay.
Alexandrite rings. They're not real Alexandrite. They'd be very expensive. And it's basically a one location thriller. It's a real mindfuck. It gets mind-bending and you just don't know what's going on. And it's in the top 10 for the International Screenwriters Association's.
Wow.
It's such a mouthful. For their thriller contest. I don't really get very much from the ISA. I don't know why they don't, but they're very nice. It's not, they're awful. It's just, I feel like my projects don't land with them over there. And so the fact that it's advanced this far, I enter contests and forget about it. I'll find out when I find out. I don't track it. It's too stressful. I have too much else going on. Like, to then be like, oh my God, I'm in the top 10. It makes me realize that these people are reading the scripts all the way through. Because a
Yeah.
lot of times you hear about it, they'll read like the first 10, 12 pages and decide then. It's like, but with this, you're not going to understand anything. It's hardly starting, but it's all happening. You just don't
Yeah.
know until the end. Anyway, so it's very good. I won't say they're all my projects. That's a very good one. And I'm working with a producer now, and he gave me some notes. So I made some adjustments, sent it back, and waiting to hear back from him. And then he's going to, I guess, start looking for a director.
Okay.
It'll blow people's faces off. No one's going to see
Really?
anything. And my slasher who done it, never have I ever. Some people will figure out, maybe not why, but who, which is
Yeah.
fine. There's one thing after someone reads it, I'm like, did you notice this? Because it was really, really tricky because I'm a huge spoiler fan.
When you were younger, you were a poet. Do you ever do that? Do you ever write poems still, or is it more just you're doing so much other writing that it's kind of like not
No,
part of your?
I did write some poems recently. Someone, I
You
think
did?
he sent me an entry like, oh, a poetry contest, you're a writer.
Yeah.
And so I was like, let's see what I can do. I've gotten a couple published. I haven't won anything, but I got a couple published. And
Yeah.
someone did send me a link for a songwriting contest. And so I just started writing songs.
Oh
Just
yeah,
the lyrics.
that'd be amazing.
Just
Yeah.
the lyrics.
Yeah.
Because I love music, but I can't write it. I
Yeah.
have one
Yeah.
song, the title of the satire, Green Means Go. I have that song fully written and I have the melody. Now I
Okay.
need I'm the lyricist and the musician or whatever the music person is called.
Yeah. And you're also part of the LA Drama Critics Circle, right?
Yes.
Tell me kind of like what's happening in the kind of queer independent theater right now. Like I feel like there was a lot of stuff coming out and for the LGBTQ plus world, and then it's all, I feel like it's scaled back some, just, and you think it's going to come back?
I do. I think I kind of see what you're saying too. Like it expanded and contracted a little bit.
Yeah.
You see that everyone was like, we need to do gay now, you
Yeah.
know? And then they're like, we kind of balanced out into the gays are just part of it.
Yeah.
So it's because I see a lot of queer stuff and I see things where it has nothing to do with that. It's just a queer character or a queer actor, so I think it balanced. And now we're just kind of like everybody else.
Yeah.
Which is good, which is always the point.
That's a good point. I kept maybe thinking about it from a political standpoint that were people holding back because of the current administration that we have in the White House. Is that why? But I think you're right. Maybe it is just that we're just part of the rest of the group now.
Right. And it could be about the current administration, but I don't think so. Not in LA. So balls to the wall out here in terms of like creativity that I don't think that would be it. You never know. Never know. There is that too.
You said at one point, so I did a little research on you. So you said at one point you wanted to be a pop star or die in a slasher movie, right?
Yes, I would love to have just one song and just be the one-hit wonder because that's not my life.
But if you had to choose to die in a slasher movie or be a pop star, which would you choose?
Pop star.
Okay.
100%. I did think about it for half a second though, but I see people, what was I watching? I'm watching horror movies all the time. And I was like, that's the guy I want to be. I'll point out to my partner sometimes, that's the guy I want to be. You're all doomed, dude. Then I die. Like, I don't, it doesn't need to be a big part. Just to be killed in several times in a slasher movie or different movies, would be so fun. And the fans would be like, oh, he's going to die because he always dies,
Yeah. How long have you and your partner been together?
Almost 21 years.
Wow, good for you. And how did you meet?
I always say at a sex party, but it wasn't. We met at a book release party. Okay. Allison Books I mentioned earlier was so I was invited to the party for this book and it was near where I lived. It's free drinks and I'm like, I'll go. And he works for the local Fox affiliate. So they get invited to everything too. Just cover our thing. And so he showed up and we've been together ever since.
Did you know that night when you met him that he was the one?
I knew it was something special.
Okay.
I don't know if I knew the one. Felt like it.
Yeah.
But, that can happen periodically.
Yeah.
And I just kept calling. I remember like the third time I called, I was like, okay, if he doesn't call me back or make some move too, then I'm going to let it go because I don't want to be a weirdo about it. But
and there was no texting back then either, right?
Right. So I'd have to call. Ugh, I hate being on the phone now. But it's the third time he finally did. He was just busy doing things. He wasn't blowing me up. And I knew that, but it was also still like he has to make a move forward too. Otherwise, if I'm the only one doing it, that
Yeah.
makes it weird.
Yeah.
So he did, and here we are.
Yeah. So I feel like, a lot of people go to LA. I don't think they have as much success as you do. Not everybody does, obviously. So people that are going to LA, especially, the LGBTQ plus community, like what advice would you give them if they want to get into screenwriting or just be part of that scene? Like what would you tell them?
Be ready for a lot of rejection, which I
Mhm.
think people know, but I don't think they know now.
Yeah.
You have to market yourself.
Yep.
It's a huge pain in the ass, especially as a writer. I'm not an introvert, but most writers are. And
Yeah.
going out and marketing, and it's just so annoying. Because I feel like, well, it's done, it speaks for itself. But if people don't know about it, they're
Yeah.
not going to find it. When I published until September, I was like, I just want this, not like get it out of my head, but get it out there to find its audience, whether that's 2 or 20 people. And now it's more than 6,000. So it's crazy. I get fan letters. But I would say, yeah, so rejection, and most of you are not going to go anywhere because it's so hard. Most of you who don't go anywhere, it's because you're not good and you don't know it.
Yeah.
Really work at it. You have to work at
Yeah.
it, take the classes. You can do it on Zoom. Your first one's going to be shitty, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah.
My first one is not, but doesn't mean the third one wasn't. There's some that I'll tell you the ones I know are very good, but I also had these others over here that I know are not very good yet. And so it's just
Okay.
you have to get out there and network. It's so important. I did hear someone say that if you're a screenwriter, you can live anywhere in the world, essentially.
Yeah.
But if
Yeah.
you're a TV writer, you need to be here.
Mm.
I adapted until September into a limited series, but that's the only thing I've done with TV. Like I write,
Would you want to do that? Like if you got a really great series, since you're in LA, would you ever want to like, you know,
I
do
wouldn't say
like
no.
yeah.
The writers' room sounds so terrifying to me, and other people are like, oh, I think they sound fun. I'm like, oh, I don't know, I just don't know. It's kind of freaks me out. But if someone wanted to bring me on board, I would certainly give it a go because I can do it. But I'm more in the features world. Like I said,
Yeah.
I write things. Like I said, or I write things that end. I don't think in terms of sequels. I don't mind sequels, but
Yeah.
sometimes I do. But like I realized this at one point. It's like, oh, everything ends. Like there's basically no possibility for a sequel. I hadn't thought about it. It's just
Yeah.
what comes naturally. But yeah, I mean, series are fun too. I love
Yeah.
watching shows. Sometimes I'm like, how are you going to make this go on for year after year? And sometimes they really do. I'm really
Yeah.
surprised and impressed.
I want to just point out one thing um, that you have been accepted into more than 60 film festivals combined, earning several awards. That's pretty impressive.
Thank you. Yeah, the short films, I find I'm good with short scripts too. The first one, Cole and Colette, they're both thrillers, I guess. Takes place in one location. I entered it in this contest, and the prize it was for short films, so I don't
Yeah.
remember what the page limit was, maybe 6 or 7 pages. And I entered and I won, and the prize was to have it produced, which is
Wow.
the best prize of all.
Yeah.
Other than $1,000, which
Yeah.
I wouldn't even remember now what I did with it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so it did really well, and people really like it. Matt, the director, did such a good job with it. And the editing, I was there through all of it. That was part of the prize. I would start watching him, literally, because I don't know what I'm doing. So I was literally just leaning over his shoulder watching. Oh, that's a good idea. Yeah, and so I was there for the sound editing, and I was there for the reshoots we had to do, and then just there for all of it. It was really, really cool experience. And my second one hit wonder, is more of a Twilight Zone kind of thriller.
Mhm.
And why did I write that? Oh yeah. One of our friends, old friend, was like, you're a writer, I'm a director or a producer, or whatever the fuck she was. We know actors and David's a makeup artist. We should make stuff. It's like, that's a really good idea. I didn't even think about it. But then she was a little Hitler. She'd be like, everyone's opinion is equal. We're all valid, which is great. Then we'd have a meeting. Like 6 hours later, she would send us like 70,000 words of screed of like how things need to be. So it felt hard. But in that experience, I wrote some short scripts, and one of them was One Hit Wonder.
Yeah, awesome.
Both from the same thing. Yeah, I was like, my friend was like, what was it? Some HBO show where you get in a taxi cab diary? Something, I never saw it. But he wanted to do that in space. And I was like, that is the
Oh,
stupidest fucking idea I've ever heard. But I was like, I'll see what I can do. And I came up with One Hit Wonder, which does not take place in space.
yeah,
But that did really well too. And they did such a good job. I've been my only two produced projects so far, but I've been very fortunate.
yeah,
Very fortunate. And yeah, to win awards, not just for me, the films, like sometimes, best thriller, best
yeah,
director, whatever. And that's always thrilling, especially as a writer, because none of this existed until me.
yeah,
I just pulled it out of the air somehow with inspiration, and like nothing would be done without the right. It doesn't exist.
yeah,
Director
yeah.
has to have something to direct
Direct, yeah,
or
exactly.
needs characters to
You're
custom.
step one.
Right, right. There's nothing
Yeah,
without us. Nothing.
yeah,
Which is really cool. It doesn't make me feel powerful. It's just really interesting. Like, he's like, where do you get your ideas? Like, fuck if I know. They just come.
yeah. But so you don't. So whenever can you think of anything that's inspired you though? Like as you written things over the years, has there been like a moment you're like, oh yes, like I don't know, you woke up from a dream and that was something like I need to write about this or
Kind
an
of.
experience.
Yeah, yeah. Not necessarily a dream. That's a good example though. But just life.
Yeah,
People are like, well, do you have a writer's block? And no, I don't. After I wrote until September, I kind of fiddled around with something else, which I still might do.
yeah,
But I didn't do anything for years. And I think a lot of writers would feel constipated by that. And to
yeah,
me, I was just like, I'm not inspired. So I'm just going to go live life.
yeah,
And then I got inspired from life. Like I said, the first movie, the script is about my rage at the world. So was the second, and so was the third. Then I felt better. You know,
yeah,
so I had
yeah,
a lot of inspiration based on that because the world's so crazy. So
yeah,
yeah, and so it just came. And why did my rage turn into a satire, a raucous, over the top, candy colored satire? Who knows? But it's about pop stars. It's
yeah.
candy colored. It's fun, and people should go out and download the songs afterwards.
Yeah. I mean, and it's great. Like, I mean, being a storyteller and being a writer, you can do whatever you want. Like
Look,
your imagination can go
right.
wherever you want. I mean, that must be amazing to be able to do these stories and to have people see them now.
Right. Yeah. No, I think it's great fun to be a creator. I don't understand people like belabor it. Oh, the flashing cursor on the blank page, whatever will I do? Like,
Yeah.
go see a movie. Go play with
Yeah.
your cat. If you're just
Yeah.
sitting there trying to force it, it's different if you're being paid. If it's
Yeah.
like, we hired you to do this, then it's different. But if you're just creating for yourself, just wait till the inspiration strikes.
Yeah.
I don't understand people get so in their heads about it. To me, it's how isn't that fun? I'm
Yeah.
making up stories, and then the characters are my friends. So I go back and work on one of those scripts that I said isn't very good yet.
Yeah.
I'm immediately hanging out with old friends. Like, how is that
I,
not fun?
I love it though that you took something that you wrote when you were 17 and put it out. Like years later. I love that. I think that's so I mean, I think it's amazing number one that you've held on to it that long because moving to LA and across the country and just
Well,
life in general. I mean,
mhm.
I guess I have a box that's under a bed downstairs of all my stuff whenever I was, junior high, high school and stuff.
Sure, sure.
And I remember journaling or something, and I should go get that out one weekend just to kind of see what I
Yeah,
wrote whenever I was,
absolutely.
I mean, yeah, that's. I love it but I just love it that you kept it that long and then you put it out and you adapted it to who you are today. I'm assuming.
It did change. When I adapted
Yeah.
it to a screenplay, it became much more complex. Then when I
Yeah.
readapted it back into a novel, it became even more complex. As like you're saying, with films, you have to give up budget until you're at
Yeah.
a certain level. You can do whatever you
Yeah.
want. But with fiction, it could be something that would cost $700 billion to produce as a film, but it doesn't matter. You're making
Yeah.
it up as you go, and that is a great fun. And this story really stuck with me because people really liked it, and of course I loved it. I wrote it, and
Yeah.
it was weird how more complex they became. They're the same characters. I mean, it's basically the same story,
Yeah.
almost exactly, except the characters have changed. And I had to focus on one because everyone wants a final girl, which I don't like because that's a spoiler to me. So it's
Yeah.
dispensable, but she's going to live. Maybe her friend will live. So any of the other characters, it's like it can still be scary and fun. But I think, anyway, I had to create a final girl. My instructor told
Yeah.
me. So I focused on one, and the school bully. Okay. A group of 8 teenagers, to give you context, in a
Yeah.
small Michigan town that doesn't have a traffic light,
Yeah.
they get a text. All it says is "never have I ever," and they're like, "What does that mean?" And they don't do anything. And then one of them gets killed, and they get another text that says, "You didn't play the game." So they all come
Oh,
together and they realize like, oh shit, they're
yeah.
trying to figure out how are we connected? What is going on? Who's next? And someone always says, no one's next. I realized I was saying that a lot in the thing. It became funny to me because he's like, no one's next. I'm going to
Yeah.
reassure you. Then, of course, someone's next. So it became so much more complex. One of them developed a drinking problem.
Yeah.
It was so organic. And one of them turned out to be gay. I went back and I found an old version of it. And so I read it. And there's nothing in there to imply that he was gay.
Yeah. But you made him gay in the new one, right?
Right.
So that's, yeah.
Right. And it doesn't really matter. He's just gay. You don't know at the beginning, so sorry, spoiler. But he knows obviously, but we don't. And then when he finally tells someone about it because they all got secrets. That's why they're being urged to play this game, and so they keep playing Never Have I Ever until someone reveals the secret. It's big enough. We're like, was that it? Are we done?
Yeah.
Is he listening? Is he one of you? Everyone's a suspect. Those 3 words will get my ass into a theater seat.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. It sounds great. So if people want to find out like what you're up to or what's coming up, where can they find you?
I'm on Instagram.
Okay.
Harker_J.
Yep.
And stupidly, I did Twitter at Harker Jones. So for years, I'd be like, which one is this one? I finally remember the difference.
I will put them both in the description of the podcast or the video if people are looking, so they can go and follow you and see what you're up to. And then whenever you come up with something new, they'll know.
Cool. That's great. Thanks so much.
Thank you. It was so great having you. I loved hearing your story coming from Michigan to LA, and your creativity is amazing. So thanks so much for being on. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay, everybody, be sure to leave a comment and let us know what you think about the episode, and be sure to subscribe and follow Harker on his Instagram and Twitter. Thanks so much, everybody.